So we will pay homage to the Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. So now, 11th Vassa. In 11th Vassa, the Buddha spent in Eka Nala village. In the commentary, it also mentioned Dakkhina Patha, Dakkhina Giri. So it will be a little bit closer to Rajagaha, a mountain, a little bit closer to Rajagaha. That's why it's called Dakkhina Giri, maybe southern part of Rajagaha maybe. So the name of village is Eka Nala. Majority of people in the village are Brahmin, that's why this is called Brahmana Gama, Brahmin villagers. So in that village, there was a Brahmin called Kasi Bharadwaja. Kasi means farmer. Bharadwaja is his clans, or maybe you can say race. So he was a educated person. That means he also had to learn all the Brahmin tradition. When seeing people, he can make judgment what kind of people he is. Only seeing behavior or only appearance, he could recognize what is his mind, what is his nature. So moreover, he was very rich. At the time, he was arranging for plowing ceremony, festival. Then he had 3,000 bulls. You can imagine how rich. Also, in this ceremony, in the festival, there are more than 2,500 people. Then 500 were plowed, and there are some people, they were planted immediately. And he arranged everything very well. So he also decorates all his bulls, all his men, including his ladies, everybody, they are well decorated. It will be big ceremonies for him and his workers. In that very day, he also arranged make rice. So he was served for all his worker. In the very morning, the Buddha also realized, after looking all over the world with his Karuna Samapati, today, when he gave Samatama talk to Kasi Bharadwaja, he will be all day, he will attain headship. The Buddha was also waiting for the opportunity to see the Brahmin. So early morning, all the workers were in the paddy field. They start plowing. After that, they are going to share the food. He himself, Kasi Bharadwaja himself, arranged properly. He himself share. Then at the time, The Buddha also realized today is the time to see Kasi Bharadwaja. Then he rearranged his robe and he brought his bow and just maybe standing in a little bit higher place. Many of his workers, I have already said, more than 2,500, right? Many of his workers were Buddhists. But their lot was non-Buddhist. Then many of people approached the Buddha, or they also surround the Buddha. When seeing that, Kasi Bharadwaja thought, oh, this ascetic, it was disturbing our ceremony. He was not that much happy. Then he also knew the Buddha's life. That means Siddhartha was born in high class as a prince. He left his palace. And he was ordained. He attained Buddhahood. He had already known all the things. But he does not have faith. Now when seeing the Buddha, not that much happy. But when seeing Buddha's appearance, he also recognized he's very high class. Then, since all his workers were around the Buddha, so he must also go there. Nobody will eat. Then he also approached the Buddha and just say, recluse, I implore. So, and then partake of food, recluse. You too, pluck, sow, and then partake of food. He recommends the Buddha like this. So he also knew that the Buddha was not really lazy person. When seeing appearance, he can recognize. But he was not very happy when seeing the Buddha because he does not have faith. Then Buddha also replied very simply, Brahmin, I am to plow, sow, and then partake food. It was big surprising. Although the Buddha say, I am plow, but no booze, no plow, no other equipment. How he can plow? Then he also put counter question again. Recluse, you say you also plow, also sow, then partake food. Where's your booze? Where's your plow? Then where is other equipment? So he just know only one thing. But the Buddha also realized he must use many simile. Today also I must use many simile, right? So first I have to clarify the simile. You can see, right? You can also see the number. Right? You can see the number, right? So this is the way of bluffing. In Singapore, you cannot see. Right? In Singapore, you cannot see. Okay, now I have to show here 1. This is it. One more. Here also 1. Okay, I put number 2, right? 2 places, and you call 1. There is Yuga, Nangala in Pali, Yoke and bluff. So yoke means here between two bulls. This is called yoke. Then here plough is also again a wood here. There are many different types. But now I just use very simple things made of wood. Then again, Isa, poles of plough. So here number 2. Here are 2 poles. The 2 poles can be bamboos, it also can be wood. So it will connect between plough and yoke. Then we have to go 3. Yuda, ropes. So here in the pool, there's also tied up rope. Actually here, poles and yoke also tied up with the rope. So that means the rope will connect poles and yoke. Not only that, the ropes also control the bulls. So here you may have seen in the neck also yoke, right? On the nose also rope. Actually here on the ground also we can see here. A little bit dim, you cannot see this one, right? Around this area, this is also rope. So the farmer will pull this rope to control the bulls. So later I have to use all these similes, that's why I have to explain this one first, right? Then, okay, number 4, plowshare, pala. So here we can see here 1, pala bajana, behind the leg of the bull, made of wood. It will dig the swine. Then, actually there will be mostly 3, so it may be minimum, it will be 3. It can be 5, 7 or 9. Actually here it will be only 5. If 7, it will be longer than yoke. If the same length with the yoke, it can be only 5. If it's shorter than that, it can be 3. Sometimes if only 1 plowshare also possible. So when you watch many documentary about the China or India, or only 1 plowshare, not many. This is actually in Myanmar. That's why we have many. Right? It can be 1, it also can be 3, it also can be 5, it can be 7, it also can be 9, it can be as many as possible. Okay, so these are the simile. I'm going to do all these simile, right? You have to remember. Then, when the Brahmin said, where is it? Your plough, your bulls, equipment, but he didn't ask anything about seed. But the Buddha starts answering with seed. Faith is seed. If we say Pali, Saddha is seed. So if we have Saddha, we can grow anything. We can also plant anywhere, right? Dana, we can also do Dana. We can also do Sila. We can also do Samatha. We can also do Vipassana, everything. We can grow, we can plant. If we don't have seeds, we cannot plant. So although we have very wide field, very wide land, if we don't have seeds, we cannot plant anything. The seed is also important. That's why the Buddha says, Saddha, faith or confidence, is seed. Then, although there's a seed, if there's no water, it's always hot. Day and night, all the time hot. We cannot plant also. That's why we also need water, right? The one is restraint in 6 senses is rainfall. We have 5 sense doors or 6 sense doors. We have to train all these 6 doors. If you can train, it's like a ray. If there's a ray, the seeds can produce the sprout, also root. The root will go into the soil. The sprout will go up. So without rain, it cannot be. But we also need restraint in 6 doors. Although we say restraint very simply, the main thing is we must be free from defilements. Whatever then we see, we hear, smell, taste, touch, or think. That's called restraint. It's a little bit similar to sila, right? We call Indriya Samvara Sila. Then, again, we also have wisdom is yoke and plough. Here I already say connection between yoke and plough, right? So, yoke is between the 2 bulls. Plough is pulled by the yoke. So here I just mentioned wisdom. Wisdom means inside knowledge and past knowledge. These 2 are yoke and plough. So if we have sat down, if we have restraint, sure there must be ploughing. There may be plough and yoke. Then here we just say inside knowledge very simply, but actually there are many different levels of inside knowledges. When you read the books, you can also understand. That's why I will not explain very much in detail. For path knowledge also, you have already known there are 4 types of path knowledge, path knowledges. So I will not explain that much in detail. Here the main thing is wisdom. Whether it's inside knowledge or path knowledge. These 2 are called wisdom. So when we can know ultimate reality, we become wiser. That's what we call wisdom. Then again, Hiri and Ottappa are poles of the plough. So here we have 2 poles. It will connect between yoke and plough. This is called Hiri Ottappa. Moral shame and moral fear. So when we have moral shame and moral fear, when we have stronger morality, it can be very big supporting cause of wisdom. Especially when we are virtuous, we can make our mind peaceful. Then we can also train our mind very well. It will produce concentration. Now concentration will produce wisdom. That's why Hiri Ottappa are also very big supporting cause of wisdom. We can also say proximate cause, right? It can be very far. The Hiri Ottappa will be proximate cause of morality, not proximate cause of wisdom. Then again, we have concentration. Mind is the ropes. So concentration will control bulls, not to go away or not to go aside, to go straight. This is called ropes. Not only that, it will tie up with yoke and poles. So that means Hiri Ottappa and wisdom. In between that, there must be concentration. I have already said, Hiri Ottappa is proximate cause of sila. It will produce concentration. Concentration will produce wisdom. That's why concentration is ropes. It will connect between poles and yoke. So this is the first part of simile. Then again, we have the next one. Mindfulness is plowshare and goat. So here we should also use the sati. The Pali word sati will be more convenient to use here. So mindfulness is plowshare. When we have very strong mindfulness, our mind becomes very sharp. You have already know plowshare will dig the soil. It will make the soil soft. If the soil is very hard, the roots cannot go deeper. When soil becomes very soft, the root can go deeper, then the plant also can grow higher. That's why mindfulness is so important. You have already know how important mindfulness is, right? If you have already meditated, you have already know how to be mindful, how difficult it was. Then again, protecting bodily is bodily controlling and bhava controlling. Here we can say samvara. Samvara means also we can say restraint. Kaya samvara, which is samvara. Restraint in the body and restraint in the speech. So this is also sila, right? So after planting, if we don't make a fence, if we don't set up or put up a fence, it will be in the forest, many deers will come, eat, it will spoil the plant. Not only that, if close to village, many of cows and bulls also can come eat the plants, it can also destroy the periphery. That's why we must put up a fence. He also mentioned moderating in foods. We can also understand another way, contentment. So whenever we talk about moderating in food, we also have to understand in two conditions. When we are accepting, we must also know the amount of food we can consume. We have to accept as much as we can consume. This is called moderating in foods. Sometimes when we are accepting, we cannot know the amount we can consume. But when we are really eating, we also have to know. That means we must not be overeating, right? If we overeat, it will make body heavy, also too much drowsiness, not that much good meditation. Body also not that much comfortable. Anyway, so moderating in foods and restraint in the body, restraint in speech. These are called protecting. So after planting, we must protect our periphery. Then again, we also have here, truthfulness is removing grass in the field. We can also say reed, right? Reed. Removing reeds. So mostly in the periphery, the reeds will be mostly grass. That's why I just say grass. Reed. Huh? Weed, I say weed. Sorry. Weeds, W-E-D, weeds. Okay, weeds. So that means we have to remove the weeds or maybe grass. It will grow together with the body. If we don't remove, it will also consume the fertilizer. That's why we have to remove. Now here, truthfulness. What does it mean, truthfulness? It also can be considered as a sila again. If we say truthfulness, we can divide into many different groups. For example, with eyes. So if we have never seen, we should not say I have seen. Right? Similarly, if we have seen, we should not say I have never seen. we must say the truth as we see, or as we don't see. This is also called truthfulness. Similarly, hearing. We have to say the truth as we have already heard. Or if we have never heard, we must not say, I've heard. Right? This is also telling lie, right? So truthfulness means we have to say the truth as we hear. Then again, smelling, tasting, touching. We just say in Pali, mutta. Mutta means experiencing. So we must say as we experience. This is called truthfulness. Then finally, we also have thinking, right? We have to say as we think. As the thought arises in our mind. This is also called truthfulness. So, when we have truthfulness, we are removing unnecessary plants, weeds and grass. So, we have the last one. No, not the last one yet, sorry. Delight in Nirvana is a release. So one more thing. Actually for a farmer, they don't have break time. Every year they have to do. In modern society, it's only 1 year, 2 times. In our childhood, 1 year, 1 time. Now farmer become greedy. 1 year, 2 times. So maybe if we start planting, it takes more than 3 months. Maybe 3.5 months maybe. After that, we can harvest. After harvesting, then they plow again, they sow again, wait maybe for a few months, 3 months or 3 or more. After that, harvesting again. So maybe twice a year, that's why we're going to say holiday, right? So that means, in the case of Buddha, he has already fulfilled all the parami. According to this simile, he also has yoke, he also have booths, also poles, bluff, robes, everything. But in the samsara, he cannot stop his farming because he hasn't finished his practice. After enlightenment, he can release from farming. No more farmer. So now modern society, if we can really go and see the benefit, they cannot release. They cannot release. Every year do the same. Every day they have something to do. They have to projects. They have to check every day, maybe every second day, something like that. If maybe some leaves are something problem, they have to use some other chemical or anything. Then finally, if they can get a solution, they can get rice, then they can harvest. If they cannot do very well, they cannot harvest. All the benefit become rubbish. Then, so here the Buddha say, delight in Nirvana is release. So in Buddha's farming, so after attaining Nibbana, release totally. No more farming. For a farmer, they don't have break time, right? These two are different. On hearing that, Kasi Bharadaja also thought, oh, Buddha has already released from farming. I have to plant every year. At the time, maybe once a year. That's why he say every year. He realized he's a farmer, but he cannot stop farming. Then finally, bodily energy and mental energy are oxygen that can bring me to the sorrowless nirvana. So we have here bodily energy and mental energy. We can say another way, that is Kayika Viriya and Jalasica Viriya. So when we have these two here when we plow, we use two bulls, right? So we also need two types of energy, bodily energy and mental energy. Body energy is very simple, just sitting, right? Body energy is very simple. The main thing is mental energy. If you cannot use properly, you will become very tired, also not that much improvement. So when we become wiser and wiser, we will come to know how to use our mental energy. Then we can improve easily. So when we have proper effort or right effort, then that right effort will bring us to Nibbana. Then you may also have known Samabhadhana, 4 types of efforts. Right? I think everybody know that one, right? 4 types of efforts. The first one is protecting oneself from an arisen unwholesome. So in the samsara, we have done many unwholesome, right? We may not have arisen unwholesome in the samsara. But in this very life, there are many unwholesome actions we have never done. So we have to maintain the one, not to do that. It will be new agusala, right? All agusalas are strong enough. We don't need new agusala, right? So this is also called viriya. Then we also have abandoning the arising unwholesome actions. Then there are many unwholesome habits, many bad habits we have. We have to give up gradually. This is also called efforts, right efforts. Especially we need more mental energy to give up or to abandon. The next one is to develop or improve wholesome actions. So if we have if we are practicing 5 precepts, try 8 precepts, 9 precepts, 10 precepts, this is called developing. Moreover, we also have to maintain our good habits and good practice. Altogether, there are 4 types of viriya. So, nowadays, different country may have different culture, especially even in agriculture. Right? Sometimes they will use horse for that kind of farming. When they plow, they use horse to pull. Only one horse is strong enough to pull. Then some places they use only buffalo. One buffalo is strong enough to pull. Then there are also some places they use bulls. Even one bull is strong enough actually to pull. But if it's 2 bulls, it will be more comfortable for them. But in the suttas, Kasipara used 4 bulls. He himself used 4 bulls. The 4 bulls were draw, 1 plough. That's why here Buddha also gave one simile, 4 types of viriya. So, in brief, if we have all these things from in every simile, right? All the qualities, then we are good farmers. On hearing that, Kasipara Raja was happy. Oh, recluse Gautama is also a farmer. then it's also worthy of dana. So he just offer rice make rice to the Buddha. But I would like to offer just make rice for you. Then the Buddha replied, I don't accept any foods by chanting stanzas. It's meaningful. This is not the nature of the Buddha. He also talked to Kasi Bharataja. So what does it mean? Actually, all the things are his own ability, his own quality. Today Buddha also explain according to the simile. All the simile are his ability, his quality. Sometimes when we want to get something, even for example, like when you have to apply for a job, for example, right? You have to show your ability, right? Then you can earn money. So in the Buddha case, by showing his own ability, by revealing his own ability, if someone offer, this is not really proper. People will complain. That's why Buddha rejected it. Another thing is, Buddha just chants many stanzas. Actually, although here I just use very common sentences, in Pali, actually this is the stanzas. We can say Pali poems. So, the Buddha rejected it. He was not very happy. Although I wish to offer to the Buddha, he rejected it. The Buddha also realized he has now faith. He gained faith now. Also he feels unhappy. Then the Buddha just recommends him. You can support arhats with foods and evening juice and so forth. Then he also requested, asking question. Venerable Sir, now I have already determined I will offer you this make rice. So here one more thing. He also speak Bhava. He also speak already. Bhavali he offer. Bodily also he has already offered to the Buddha, but Buddha rejected it. Then he also realized he should not offer anybody. Then he asked, my lords, what should I do with this food now? I have already offered you, you don't accept. This is also the way of dana, so you also have to know, right? So many times we also have to remind many devotees. Sometimes they will say, Sangasa Dema. So if it is like, for example, this kind of cup, right? This is made of clay, right? It's made of clay, it will be heavy properties, karubanda. It must be for Sangha. It cannot be personal. The made of woods, but a wooden spoon sometimes. Right? If it's a Sangha Satema, it belongs to Sangha, it cannot be personal. Okay, here the main thing is, if we say Sangha Satema, it belongs to Sangha, we cannot use as our personal. In this center, not really big problem. We have only limited bhikkhus, right? Now, 5 bhikkhus. So everybody can offer 5 cups, no problem. So like Paul, there are more than 500 bhikkhus. If we say Sangha Dema, so how can we share 1 cup for 500 bhikkhus? We have to smash, right? Sometimes we have that kind of difficulties. The cup, okay, we can keep long time, whole year, whole life, no problem. Sometimes foods, for example, chatumadu, right? We have only a bottle of chatumadu, offer, Sangha Dema. We have 500 bhikkhus. How can we share? So that means we have to do as devotee said or donor say. So now also donor Kasipara Raja has already said, I offer this food for you. Then it belongs to the Buddha. Or the Buddha reject it. So that means if we say bhavali or bodily, we have to do as donor guided. This is the way of Vinaya. So when you listen many Dhamma talks, and you may also know offering to Sangha is more beneficial, right? Everybody know. Sangha Dana is more powerful, right? The most beneficial. Everybody know the one. If you just offer mentally, no problem. If you speak out, is the problem. So we have to be wise when we are going to offer Sangha Satema, right? Okay, now, again, he said, I have already inclined bhavali and bodily. What should I do now? The Buddha said, I cannot see anybody who can digest this food. If they consume, they cannot digest. Then the Buddha just recommend him, you better throw away on the ground or on the water where there's no fish, no other living beings. You better throw on the ground where there's no grass or any trees. Because there are many, many divine nutriments in their foods. Because it's offered to the Buddha. Then he throw away. It's like a bunny. It's surprise. Then he approached the Buddha. How wonderful. And then he also requested the Buddha, please accept me as your devotees. Then finally, he also requested for ordination. The Buddha allowed him. Then he became bhikkhu. He learned Dhamma. He also meditated. Finally, he got enlightenment. So this is Kasipara Raja Sutta. In Ekanala village, although the Buddha spanned one Vassa, we cannot find any other suttas. So far I have found only one suttas, Kasipara Raja Sutta. It doesn't mean the Buddha didn't give any other Dhamma talk. There will be many common Dhamma talk to many listeners. Then we have time, right? We can go to Viranja. So in Eka Nala village, you have already know 11 Vassa. The Buddha spent his 11th Vassa in Eka Nala village, but his 12th Vassa will be in Viranja. You may have seen this picture, right? So Viranja. The name of the city is also Viranja. Then the leader of that city is also Viranja. Then in Viranja, there are also many other suttas, many other events that happen in Viranja. So, here I have put question, who is the oldest of all beings? Actually, this question was answered by the Buddha in Viranja. When the Buddha arrived at Viranja, also Brahmin Viranja, overhearing that Siddhartha Gautama had already arrived in their city. Although they don't believe in Buddha, Buddha was very well-known and influential person. If we go and see, it will be beneficial. They believe. Then there's something also he disliked about the Buddha. That then he said Buddha didn't bow down to orderly people. The Buddha didn't show respect for orderly people. He disliked that kind of behavior. He himself was very old already. He also wished to know practically. Then he approached the Buddha. As he had to know, Buddha didn't show respect. Then he complained. Oh, Samana Gautama, ascetic Gautama, I have heard that you didn't pay respect for the senior, orderly people. But now, I myself can see you not paying respect orderly people. It's not really good culture. It's not very good contact. Then, actually there are some other ingredients in the suttas. Actually it will be a little bit long. I should summarize. And the Buddha said, who is the oldest of all living beings? Then Buddha also gave one simile. Let's say there was a hen, it lays 8 eggs or 9 eggs, or maybe 10 eggs. Then all the egg will produce the chick. After some times, then one of the chick inside the eggs, the nails become harder, beak is also harder. When it becomes very hard, it was trying to break the egg, the shell of the egg. Finally, it can break and come out of the egg. After that, all other chicken also break the egg and come out. The first one and the second one, and that one, who is the oldest? Then he said, the first one is the oldest. The Buddha also said, all the people are under the share of avijja, ignorance. So that means we are covered with ignorance. We cannot break the ignorance. We are in the dark room. So avijja is like a darkness. When you learn Abhidhamma, you may also know wisdom. When we say wisdom, we also use the light of wisdom, right? So wisdom is the light. So opposite of wisdom is avijja, ignorance. So ignorance is darkness. So we are covered with the share ignorance. That in the dark room, we cannot break. So the Buddha himself had very strong parami, so he can start breaking the shell. After breaking, he can start seeing the light outside. Oh, outside was bright, also wider space, he realized. That's why the Buddha said the oldest. Then the Buddha also explained how he break the shell of the eggs, especially ignorance. So you have already known the one, right? Vassa, no sati, recollecting past lives. So whenever the Buddha talk about Vassa, no sati, it will mention so even smahiti, tite, and so forth. They are quality of the mind. Then our mind become very well concentrated, very firm and stable, and very bright and illuminate. Then it's the time to see the past. That means our light of wisdom become very bright. We can see the past. When the light of wisdom is very weak and dim, we cannot see the past. Although we say very simply, actually there are many other steps to practice to attain jnana, recollection of past lives. At the least, we must attain 8 attainments in 8 casinos, with 8 casinos. After that, we have to train 14 ways. If we can train very well, then our mind becomes very sharp, strong and powerful, more stability, more brightness. Then, when our mind inclined to the past, we can see it. This is Vassa. So that means, when we have very strong ignorance, we cannot see the past. That's why when we talk about avijja, there's also one of the avijja mentioned, Pubanda, past portion, past lives. Avijja also cover past lives. Similarly, aparanda, which also cover future. Pubanda, aparanda, which also cover both past and future. This is the power of avijja. So I think in Singapore also you can see some small boys and girls, they can remember their past lives, right? Have you ever seen anybody like this? No? Or maybe a little bit different from, right? Like Sri Lanka, many people. Like Myanmar, Cambodia, we have many people like that. Okay, anyway, we have previously, a very young boy, around 3 years or something like that, he can remember many of Tipitaka. He can chant many Tipitaka, right? There are many of Pali in Tipitaka. Then he can also remember his past life. His past life is Dhammatoka. So actually, Myanmar Dhammatoka have to memorize many Pali, right? Not it will be different from other Dhammatoka. So nowadays, many of Dhammatoka very easy, right? They just explain what they experience, finish. From Myanmar Dhammatoka, we have to memorize many things. Anyway, in his case, when he was young, but little boy, he could remember many. When we grow older and older, he forgot. You can imagine ignorance. Avijja. When we are little boy or little girl, we have very less avijja. When we grow older and older, avijja becomes stronger and stronger. We become forgetful. Okay, anyway, now here Vassa, seeing the past. That means if we can break avijja, ignorance, then we can see the past. When we have very strong avijja, we cannot see the past. That's why the Buddha is the first person who attained Vassa, recollection of past lives. That's why he is the oldest of all living beings. Then you may also ask, what about non-Buddhists? There are also many non-Buddhists. They can also know the past. What is the difference? Actually, there are many different things. For about non-Buddhists, when they have very bright lights, they also have meditation, right? Asian time they also have meditation. They may have very bright lights. Then they can also see their past, following all the process, all the life, from birth to death. Birth to death, they have to follow, without skipping any of process, as detailed as possible. Then they can see the past. Then Buddha disciple will be different. Because the Buddha gave many different instructions, also Buddha also explained very clear path. That is why, although we skip many things, we can still see the past. This then will be different from Buddhists and non-Buddhists. So now the Buddha is the first person who can create that kind of path to see, to jump one life to another life easily without following the process. Also, he could also teach his disciple to do the same. Skip one life to another life without following the process. So this is also the first time he break down the eggs, the shell of the egg. Second one, Diva Chaku, Diva eye. You have already known, right? So although we say divine eye, it doesn't mean only we can see only the divine beings. Usually with divine eyes, we can also see very far things. Although it's very far from us, we can see. Although it's blocked by something, we can see. Maybe we can penetrate the mountain, tree, or anything, we can see. Like X-ray, right? X-ray is a little weak. If 2 or 3 layers cannot penetrate. Now the Sakya Bhava is very powerful. Many layers can penetrate. Then even very small tiny things, although it's impossible to see with our naked eyes, when we attain divine eyes, we can see. This is the divine powers. Actually, it will be the same. We must have 8 attainments with 8 kasinas, training 14 ways. Then when we have very bright light, we can see divine beings. We can see very fine and subtle things. Finally, you know, asavakaya jnana, destructions of taints or mental intoxicants, attaining arhatship. So the Buddha was the first arhat in the world. So he also guides all his disciples to attain arhatship. So when we talk about Buddha, right? When we say Buddha, we also translate the one who knows Four Noble Truths, or the one who let living beings know Four Noble Truths. We can also understand another way, who wake up from the darkness of ignorance, or who wake up the first time, the first person who wake up in the world. This is called asavakaya. Okay, so he break down he eradicates all the defilements that he could attain arhatship. This is called asavakaya jnana. That's why the Buddha said he is the oldest of all living beings. After his enlightenment, he can also guide all other living beings. They can also get enlightened. That is why he was the oldest. There's nobody older than him. That's why he need not pay respect to anybody. So he explained to Virendra. Also he was pleased. Finally, he also invited the Buddha with 4 ocracies. Unfortunately, he forgot to offer, bewitched by Maharaj. So in the years, so you can see Buddha have to eat very gross rice. Actually, they bring all this rice for their horses. Right? Whenever another have to accept the rice and also smudge, and it become very soft. Also offer to the Buddha. So this is only one Vassa. Buddha had to suffer. So there was also one more thing. That is, Venerable Sariputta requested to lay down Vinaya rules in the 12th Vassa in Virendra. So one day, Venerable Sariputta approached the Buddha and asked, Venerable Sir, in which Buddha dispensation the Dhamma can last long? In which Buddha dispensation the Dhamma cannot last long? When questioning, the Buddha also answered. There are Buddhas, they have very long life. So all the people have very less attachment, then very less defilement, very weak defilements, not that much offenders. The Buddha need not lay down many rules and regulations. Then after second generation, no more. Lifespan also longer. That's why, although it is not that much problem. Though there are some Buddhas, their lifespan is shorter. They have to lay down many rules and regulations. Then many generations will maintain the Buddha's teaching. When hearing that, Venerable Sariputta requested, Venerable Sir, for the good of Buddha's dispensation, please lay down Vinaya rules for the Sangha. Then the Buddha said, please wait until there was an offender. For example, stealing. If there's no offender, if the Buddha lay down the rules, people may complain, who will steal? Even they haven't ordained. Gautama do whatever they like, because he knows his disciples will follow him. They will complain. That is why Buddha just talked to Venerable Sariputta. Please wait until the time ripened, until there was an offender. So later, after 20 Vassa, the Buddha had to lay down very heavy rules, or very serious rules. Last night I have already talked about Parajika and Sanghadisesa, right? So all these rules are later, especially Parajika will be after 20th Vassa. Before 20, all the disciples are very clever and very smart. They have very strong parami, they can attain Nirvana very easily. After 20, not many people can attain like this. So all the special person had already attained, so only very normal person remain there, right? Because I cannot attain. In modern society, we cannot expect anymore. So the Buddha also requested, Buddha also say, please wait. The Buddha didn't lay down in the 13th Vassa. Then again, we also have famine in Vedanta, right? Then, in that very years, there's also some disaster. Although they plant many rice and berries and any grains, without rain, that's why they cannot harvest. Not having enough food, many people also die. Then nobody can also support the Buddha and Sanghas. That's why Buddha had to suffer in Vedanta. You also have known why it's happening, right? In the past, he say a group of bhikkhus are eating a little bit cross, maybe a little bit very cross rice, maybe. He say, oh, they are eating very cross rice, not very soft rice. Then, what bad intention? He has to pay back the karma. Then again, after 3 months suffering there, after Vassa, the Buddha visited his family. So you have already known, maybe very long time ago, I have to repeat now. Right? When Buddha was spending Vassa in Vesali, in the 5th Vassa, Buddha's father passed away. In that very year, Mahapajapati Gautami was ordained as a bhikkhuni. The Buddha allowed bhikkhuni ordination in the 5th Vassa. So, the Buddha also knew that when he visited his family, his relatives, they were Sapt Sangha. That's why Buddha chose his destination after the Vassa. Then there are also many other information about Viranja. I think tonight I cannot finish. Okay? So tomorrow I have to use Viranja. After that I will use maybe the next one, Chalika Hill. Okay? So in Viranja, how many Vassa? 12, right? In Chalika, 13 it will be. So in the 12 Vassa, Bodhisattva in Viranja, there are also many other suttas. Okay? Tomorrow I will use, right? Okay, now I have to summarize. So we also have one saying, those who have very strong and powerful punya had opportunity to support the Buddha's dispensation. Those who has very little punya may not have that kind of opportunity. So now we all have opportunity to support Buddha's dispensation. What kind of supporting? We can support with material, we can also support with Dhamma. Two ways of supporting. In other words, we can also say puja. We can also do amisa puja, offering material, any donations. Dhamma puja, we can also do meditation, learning Dhamma, practicing Dhamma. These are called Dhamma puja. So, if we can do these two, we are also fulfilling parami. That means we have to use our famine until we can release from our famine, right? So now may we all be able to use famine. Also, finally, may all be able to release from famine. Okay then. Any other question? Oh.
Bhante, last two lessons Bhante has said we cannot success in our meditation because we unskillful.
Sure.
Just now Bhante give a Dhamma talk. Is it that one is the skill for the meditation? Bhante can give more for us.
In Chalikahi we can see more. Okay? In Chalikahi we can see more, right? Also one more simile. We have to find the picture again. One more simile, right? Okay. Then any other thing?
Sorry, Bhante. Can you slightly just help me understand just now why the Buddha did not accept the offer?
So that means he talked about his quality too much. For example, if I talk about my quality, right? I am revealing my own quality. We also say atukansana, praising oneself too much. It's not really proper lifestyle as ordinary person. But in modern society, sure, it's very common, right? For example, like sometimes here, actually, when you see my biography, it was very simple. Ukoida pautoya, very simple, right? So when you read many other Pandit, they may have many other things, right? BA, MA, PhD, and many other things. you know that kind of things. So that kind of things is not really very proper. Okay. So if we, that means we just reveal our ability, then to get some property from devotees. Right? The devotee will respect more. They may have more respect, also more offering. That's why not really very proper any. So the Lord has already talked about his own ability. Also, I have said like a Pali poem. Very beautiful sounds. When hearing that, people say, "Oh, Gautama can earn money by chanting very beautiful sounds." That's why he didn't accept. Okay. Okay.
Related to the same question. So the Buddha said that he saw no one in the world who could digest the food. So was the food special only because it was offered to the Buddha, or was it already special on its own?
No, only offered to the Buddha. It was already offered to the Buddha, it becomes special. Originally it's just normal. Okay? Okay, any other?
Is it then appropriate for Buddha to actually decline the food? Is that not a lot of showing a lot of compassion?
So the compassion, if he does not have compassion, he may not come to see him. Right? He's a non-Buddhist actually. So he has compassion, doesn't he? Just asks him to support Arhat, not him, Arhat. Right? So out of compassion, so he didn't accept that, but he guide him to offer to Arhat.
Can you go back to the previous slide again?
Which one?
The very first one, like the first village, the first.
Okay.
Oh, Ikanala.
Don't believe that this Bicha, right? The Bicha is not really proper. Even Buddha awareness stance is not very proper. Actually, and that's why sometimes I don't want to show that kind of Bicha. Anyway, no choice. Nobody paying like this also. No, here carrying bowl also not very proper. Okay, don't believe that Bicha.
Not too
Okay.
literal.
Okay,
So
yeah.
is Ikanala village this is the most Vassa that Buddha spent in?
Not only one Vassa.
Only one.
One Vassa.
Oh, okay. What was the other one that was like 12 or?
After no yet. In Chetawana,
In Chetawana.
Sawati, right?
Sawati.
And Sawati.
That's the most
The
Vassas.
most. That's why when we study sutras, Ekan Samyam Bhagavad Sawatiyam, right? So if you search in Tipitaka Sawatiyam, you can find many sutras. Okay? Any other thing?
This is maybe a bit out of context. In the Theravada tradition, it is understood that the Buddha said that there will be 25 future Buddhas.
25 future Buddhas?
Yeah, is that correct? Apart from Maitreya, who will be the future Buddha, there are future 25 Buddhas to be expected. Is that correct?
We don't have that kind of list,
No?
that kind of number.
Okay.
Actually, there can be many other future Buddhas. 12 is too little, right?
There can be many Pacceka Buddhas.
Sure. No, many other Buddhas.
Many other Buddhas, yeah, but he
because-
didn't specify the numbers.
Sure, number. Because
Only Maitreya.
Samsara is very long, right?
Yeah.
Samsara is very long. There will be many other Buddhas, sure. Okay?
Okay.
Any other thing? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Bante. Regarding the just now you're mentioning about the the shell with the abhija. So Buddha mentioned that he is the oldest and he's the first in the world. So this world mean is which world?
In Bali we say loka, right? If we say loka, we have three types of loka. Satta loka, living beings are also called loka. So sankhara loka, formation are also called loka. The okasa loka, universe, multiverse are also called loka, right? So in this case, we should say living beings, satta loka. In the satta loka, he is the oldest. Okay, among the living beings, he is the oldest. Already mentioned here, the oldest are all beings, right? Who is the oldest of all beings?
So how we understand the Buddha before Dhamma Buddha?
So, okay, actually very far already. They are not living now. Among the living beings, here it say living beings, not dead beings. Okay, all the living beings. Okay, so Kasapa Buddha already passed away. We cannot say living. Among the living beings, he's the oldest. Okay. Then. Any other? No more? Only 5 minutes, right? Okay, if no question, we can stop, right? We can share merits. Oh, okay. Sadhu, 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 Sikhiram Sabacho Hodu. Okay. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, now we may share merit, right? Idame bunyam asawakaya waham hodu idame bunyam nibbanasa pateyo hodu mama bunya bagam sabasadanam bhajemi de sabe me samam bunya bagam lavandu sadhu sadhu sadhu.